Hello and welcome to my channel, The Zionist Slayer. Today we're going to be talking about why Israel shouldn't be there in this world. The topic of Israel's existence is highly contentious and deeply polarizing. For some, advocating for the non-existence of a nation is seen as a deeply problematic and inherently opposed to the principle of international law, self-determination and human rights. However, from a critical perspective, here are the reasons that some opponents might argue for why Israel should not exist as a state in its current form. Because it is the most harmful country in the world as of now for the last 76 years. Now, why do we say that? There are a lot of facts behind it. They've done historical displacement, which is actually the Nakba, the 1948 Palestinian exodus. The creation of Israel in 1948 led to the displacement of approximately 700,000 Palestinians. They were actually Arabs from their homes, creating a significant refugee crisis that persists till today, till 2024. Human rights violations, occupation of territories. Well, Israel is very famous for that. Israel's occupation of the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem since 1967 is viewed by many as illegal under international law, leading to widespread human rights abuses against Palestinians. Because they've been doing settlement expansion. The settlement expansion continues till date. The continued construction of Israeli settlements in occupied territories is considered illegal by the international community and is seen as a major impediment to peace because they do not want peace. Apartheid allegations, which are actually true. Discriminatory policies. Some argue that Israel enacts policies that creates an apartheid-like system where Palestinians and Arab Israelis are subject to different laws and treatment when compared with Jewish citizens of Israel. International law violation. They've been doing this for a long time. UN resolutions. Israel has been accused of violating numerous United Nations resolutions calling for withdrawal from occupied territories and cessation of settlement activities, but they don't do that. They fail to do so till today. Regional instability. Because of Zionist Israel, conflicts and wars are evident. Israel's establishment and actions have been central to numerous conflicts in the Middle East. The entire problem is Israel, contributing to regional instability and violence for the last 76 years. Proxy conflicts. Israeli conflicts with groups like Hezbollah and Hamas, often supported by other regional powers, exacerbate tensions in the Middle East, which should never happen. Economic sanctions and boycotts. BDS movements did come in place. The boycott, divestment, sanctions movement argues that economic pressure should be applied to Israel to end what it is perceived as human rights violation and occupation, which indeed is true. Ethno-religious state model exclusivity. Critics argue that Israel's identity as a Jewish state inherently discriminate against non-Jews, particularly Palestinian Arabs, making it an ethno-religious state that conflicts with democratic values. Impact on Palestinian living conditions. Many Palestinians live in conditions of poverty, restricted movement, and lack of access to basic resources like water and healthcare due to Israeli Zionist policies. Gaza blockade. The blockade of Gaza has led to severe humanitarian crisis, restricting the flow of goods, services, and people. Nuclear ambiguity, unregulated arsenal. Israel's undeclared nuclear weapon program is a source of regional and global tension as it remains outside of the framework of international oversight. Global polarization, divisive issue. The existence and policies of Israel polarizing global politics, creating division within and between countries, communities, and international organizations. Impact on Jewish communities worldwide. Rising anti-Semitism, which is actually non-existent. But still, actions by the Israeli government are sometimes cited as a reason for increased anti-Semitism worldwide, affecting Jewish communities that may have little connection to Israeli policies. These guys are all innocent. Environmental concerns, resource strain. The environmental impact of settlement expansion and military activities puts additional strain on local resources affecting both Israelis and Palestinians. Moral and ethical concerns, use of force. The frequent use of military force in response to conflict and protest is often viewed as disproportionate and ethically questionable. It is actually questionable because you cannot face the IOF or the military of Israel. Economic costs, international aid, significant financial aid, particularly from the United States, is directed to Israel and even from Europe, mainly UK, which some argues could be better used to address issues of poverty and development globally. Cultural destruction, heritage sites. The conflict and occupation have led to the destruction and neglect of Palestinian culture and historical sites. Let me summarize this into our conclusion. It is important to note that the argument listed above represent a critical perspective and do not reflect anything to do with the Jewish morals and belief. The existence of Israel is a complex issue rooted in historical, religious, and political context. Any discussion around the legitimacy of a state's existence must be approached with sensitivity to the deeply held belief and experience of all parties involved. But in this case, this doesn't apply. There should not be an Israeli state. There should not be an Israel-American joint pact. There should never be an Israeli state created in Palestine. It will always be Palestine. It will never be Israel. Long live Palestine.